Hey guys, I'm back. I didn't go AWOL. I appreciate all the messages checking in to see where I was at. I took a little bit of time off. As all you guys know, the work-life balance is hard sometimes. Being a present boss, giving customers consistent quality while fumbling through and learning how to run a business and still being a good husband and father is really rough sometimes. And sometimes you have to back burner stuff that you really love to do, like this podcast. And with that being said, if you guys caught my quick little intro asking that I want to hear from you guys, I want to clarify something. I've been pretty selective about who I choose to have on here for reasons. I want to have people who are relatable and who have been there and in the trenches. I want to talk to people who have something to teach or something to learn. I started this podcast because I wanted to meet and learn from other people in the industry. I regularly get emails from you guys, and I'm honored that you even care about my opinion. I'm positive there are way more qualified people out there to help me answer these most asked questions. So instead of doing the same format as I always do, I kind of want to table a few questions and have a mini series with short episodes for the next couple months to answer some of those questions that everybody has been asking. So yes, I do want to hear from you guys. I'm going to put a list of questions out on our Instagram page, such as what did you learn the hard way? What was your biggest pain point? What do you wish you knew before you started? And things like that. If you've got answers to some of these questions, I want to hear from you. We can make these short, we can make these 15 minutes, we can make these 30 minutes, we can make these an hour if you want. It's up to you guys and what you feel you can add value to. So, by the time you hear this, I want to have these questions posted. If you want to hop on a call with me, give me an email, kevin@jmwfabrication.com. We'll set up a time and we'll see what we can do. I want to start putting these out as they come. So we're going to get back into things pretty quick. So if you've got something, reach out to me, kevin@jmwfabrication.com. And until next time, get out there, get it done, and get it invoiced. Hey guys, welcome to the Welding Business Owners Podcast, where our podcasts are late, but our bids are on time. I'm your host, Kevin, with JMW Fabrication. Today, we've got episode number 1 with Nate Newton from Battleborn Welding. I know you guys have heard him on here before with Josh from the Tradesman Experience, but in this episode, I sit down with just him to talk about how Battleborn came to be and the experiences that he's had growing that. So if you want to check out the stuff that they do, you can find them at Battleborn Welding on Instagram. You can find Nate at Nate Newton 87. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I used to edit all my stuff, and man, that's where my tagline of my podcast late, but my bids are on time came from. Because like it'd be like Sunday, and I'm like, dude, I got to get this podcast out, but like I've got these bids due. Like, what do I do? Like, I have to do my actual work first.
It's really big priority.
Yeah, and then it'd be like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm just going to put it out a day late. And then, like, I wouldn't do it Monday. And I'm like, screw it. It's already Wednesday. Like, I'm just going to skip a week. You know what I mean? And then it got to be a burden to the point where I was like, yeah, the podcast is cool, but it took a lot of work to just, like, it was so much more time just to edit and listen to my thing over again, you know? So I'm like, let me just find somebody who, like, doesn't mind listening to us jabber on. And, like, I don't really edit anything. I just, like, chop it up into manageable sections and maybe edit out some ands and ums to make us not look like sound stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Josh has edited an episode in years at this point.
Really?
I mean, we're 5 years in, and probably the last 3 years, it just works. We have a flow to it at this point. You know, we know what we're doing. And
yeah.
It took 2 years, figuring it out, but this podcasting world, man, it's not as easy as people think it is. It's not as easy as just jumping in and shooting shit and fucking around, you know.
To do it well, it's not that easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where Josh comes in, dude. He's all over all that shit. He did all the research for all the top notch, headphones, microphones, and he's about to move back to the Midwest too.
Yeah, I talked to him about that.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
So it's we're gonna do it remote. We'll still do it once a week, every Wednesday. And dude, it'll be nice because now I don't have to travel up to Carson to go, go record, I can just do it from my house. I'm going to put a little studio. I just bought a house, so I'm putting a studio in one of the spare bedrooms.
Okay.
And it'll make it a lot easier for everybody.
Well, it's funny because when I first started podcasting, I thought you had to have like a studio and you had to have all this like dampening equipment. You had to line your walls with everything to like keep the sound down and like everything like that. And dude, no, not at all. Like that is not feasible one bit. I have a laptop. I have like the most money I spent was on this mic. I have a $30 headset. Like I'm recording in the garage part of my camper right now because my kids are inside playing.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm in my office right now. I don't have any mics or headphones or anything because it's all at the studio up at Josh's place. And so I'm just
sound great,
kind of winging it. Yeah,
it's all good, man.
Dude, Apple products are the shit, dude. I mean, everything we have is all Mac.
Yeah,
and dude, they're fucking great. Like I don't know why anybody else would get anything other than that, but
haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet, so.
Right. Well, dude, when it comes to like all of our foremans, they all have iPads that have data on them. Like so they can use them out in the field and whatever. But I mean, the information sharing that we have with the Mac stuff is fucking huge.
Yeah,
it's a game changer. It really is.
Awesome.
But they got access to everything I have access to. So everything that's on my computer, they can get access to all of that.
Yeah. We use Microsoft OneDrive. It's kind of like Google Drive or whatever the equivalent for Apple is. And actually super disappointed because a lot of stuff really gets like if you try to move big files at one shot, like things get lost. We just went through a whole big ordeal. Like I forget what happened, but like so much stuff disappeared and I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, where are all the DXFs for this? We made this like a year ago. Like it's going to take us like 3 days to remake this. And yeah, so I mean, maybe I should jump on the Apple bandwagon. I don't know. I went to the Google Pixel phone.
Yeah.
Honestly, this thing kind of sucks. It's really not that great. Like I expected a lot more from Google, and Samsung, like whatever the Samsung has,
the Galaxy or whatever.
Yeah, the Galaxy. Like the memory is like a third of the way full when you get it. I'm like, no, hold on here. Whoa.
Nah. I'm Team Apple all day. It's like so douchey to like be Team Apple, but I mean the product is better. The user interface is more conducive. Like,
and when it comes to business, that's what matters. Like it's just freaking work. Just work. Be there all the time, and let's get stuff done.
Exactly. Yeah. When I hear people are like, "No, I'm all about Samsung or Google or whatever," I'm like, and then I hear all the fucking problems that they have with their shit, and I'm like. I get it.
Yeah.
It's capitalism, for sure. But I mean, stuff works, so.
Cool, man. Well, let's hop into this to not take too much time. As people have probably heard before, you and Josh are on the podcast, but I want to hear more about you and your business partner, because you guys own Battleborn Welding. It seems like you are probably one of two people who I've talked to where having a business partner actually works, which it's a unicorn, you know? So back it up a little bit. I want to hear about how you started, how you and your partner started, and tell me how this all kind of grew from where you guys started to where you are now.
Yeah. So, I mean, so my name is Nate Newton. I'm co-owner of Battleborn Welding. My business partner, Matt Hewitt. We met in the pipeline industry, actually. I was a pipeline welder for 12 years. We did large diameter water transmission lines. So we welded all the way up to 14-foot diameter pipe. We went from like 24-inch all the way up to 14-foot. But we also, we laid pipe 6,000 feet underground in British Columbia doing a water treatment facility up there. Matt and I, we clicked like right off the bat. And we pipelined together for at least a decade. And it's fucking crazy how, like we lived together, worked together, and partied together. We were around each other all the time. I mean, he's basically my wife. Like, and I'm divorced, so it's like that marriage works out better than my last one. But we're very complimenting to each other's skill sets, to each other's personalities, to each other's behavior. Matt is a very moral individual. I'll put it that way. He always does the right thing. And for me, sometimes I need to be talked off a ledge. I have severe ADHD, so I get hyper fixated on things. And when I am going, I need somebody to pull me out of the weeds sometimes to bring me back and be like, hey, what's the right thing to do here? Matt never motherfucks me in what decisions I'm making, but he will ask honest questions. He'd be like, why are we doing this? And I think that having a partner that's willing to have an open discussion about how you operate your business it's critical. I can't even put words behind that on how much that means to have just open-ended discussions about things and not like, hey, why, like, fuck you, you know, like, and that's the way most partnerships work, is that people are up each other's asses about, you know, well, that's not the way I would do it. If you have open-ended discussions on why we're doing things a certain way, you can really start to come to like a matrimonious agreement on what we're doing. I've had this discussion with so many people because the partnerships fail constantly, you know, and with Matt and I, it works because we look at each other as an addition to who we are, not as a obstacle that we have to overcome.
Okay.
And that is a huge part of partnerships that when I see people fail with partnerships, it's because they're fighting each other the whole time. And when it comes to Matt and I, we talk about things, and we both, like, as long as we know that we have the same path and that we're trying to accomplish the same goal, it's all a matter of how we get to that goal. And methods and means are one of those things where most people start to fall apart. And we have a owners meeting every week that's usually on like Thursday or Friday, where, you know, we kind of talk about everything that happened over the past week, what projects are going on, you know, what I'm bidding on. Cause I'm the guy that's like 6 months out in front, and Matt's the guy that's the here and now. And Matt is really, he's the operations guy. I'm the guy that's trying to get our year filled up, you know? So it's understanding our roles and keeping them completely separate and not stepping on each other's toes. I don't come in here and tell him how to run the fucking shop. I don't tell him how to run the crews out there. He doesn't tell me how to estimate the work. You know, like, and so like having very clear, defined roles, responsibilities, and expectations is the most critical point of having a partnership, you know? And when I watch a lot of these other guys, when they just eat shit on the whole thing, it's like, well, you guys are fighting over ego. That's what you're fighting over. It's about the way I would want it done, the way I see it needs to be done fit, and he doesn't see it my way. Well, no wonder that thing fucking falls apart. That makes total sense that it's falling apart because you guys are fighting over your ego. And dude, I'm a fucking arrogant motherfucker. I really am. I know I'm the shit, you know, and Matt's good at fucking bringing me back off of that, you know, and it's easy to let the winds run away on you, and you need an anchor. You need somebody like, for somebody like me, I need somebody like Matt that's a lot more grounded than me to like bring me back in. And he does a phenomenal job of that. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, tell you it's all sunshine and rainbows and that everything's great and we never fight and we never have issues. But the way we fight is what matters. The way we fight is that it's like, hey, we need to have a conversation right fucking now. We close the office door and him and I sitting here and we hash it out. And we don't leave this office until it's settled. You know, I don't care who's right, who's wrong. It's a matter of how are we going to move forward. Anybody that's looking to go into a partnership, I would tell them no. Because they don't have Matt. They don't have me. You know, like we're extremely fortunate in the fact that we operate in the way that we do.
Wow. So what did you guys start out doing? Did you have a clear, defined path that you were going to take, or did you just kind of like...
Fuck no. We got pissed off at our boss.
Clear, defined path. Yeah, right.
Dude, we got pissed off at our boss one day. Dude, here's the thing. Like, we were making probably $250,000 a year chasing pipe. I mean, and you're kind of fucking homeless, right? Like, you live on the road. Yeah. You're chasing pipe all over the place. You know, we ended up in Canada for a couple years. And then all of a sudden there was like some new estimator that came in. And this dude, like all of a sudden because we got paid piece price. And then all of a sudden our piece prices started tanking. When I used to make 10 grand a week, I'm making fucking $1,500 a week and I'm paying for my own hotels and all this shit. So we got pissed at our boss, and our boss was he was one of the coolest fucking dudes. It still is. He's a great fucking guy. And just their business model changed. And some scumbag dipshit came in, started undercutting shit, started taking money from the guys doing the work. And so we got pissed, and I remember I was out here in Nevada, and we spent a lot of time in California chasing pipe. I called Matt, and I'm kind of getting my ass handed to me on the financial side. And I'm like, hey dude, maybe we should start a business. And he's like, I was literally pulling your contact up to call you and tell you the same thing. And so we started off doing heavy equipment repair. There's a lot of dirt work out here. All the pipe out here is all HDPE, so high density polyethylene. So it's just plastic pipe. Nevada doesn't really do steel pipe that much unless it's geothermal, and then you're dealing with, good luck getting your foot in the door on that. But so we just started doing heavy equipment repairs. So we were doing like hard facing, bucket repairs, arm repairs, like whatever the fuck it was. There's a lot of rough terrain out here, so the equipment takes a pounding. Like we learned how to fabricate, because this is one of those things that cracks me up about pipe welders. Pipe welders can fucking weld. None of them can fabricate. Fabrication is very difficult, and learning how to be a master fabricator, especially when you just started a business and you're kind of banking on it, was a huge shot in the nuts.
Yeah.
I can weld, all of it. Name it, we can fucking do it. But fabricating was another story. So we started getting into ornamental work. So we live out here by Lake Tahoe. It's one of the most affluent areas in the country. Billionaires are pushing out millionaires at this point.
Wow.
If you want a house on the lake up at Tahoe, that's $30 million.
Holy cow.
So we started getting into the custom home market, and we were doing all the structural steel and stuff, and then trying to figure out how to do ornamental. And I mean, these people that buy these homes, they're very particular people, right? Mm-hmm. They see everything. And I mean, especially if you're up on your balcony and this is like where you're showing your friend, your friends, you're showing off your house and all that kind of stuff. That shit better be money.
Perfect.
There's no fucking around. There's no out of square. The reveal better be perfect. And that's where we learn sometimes you have to please the tape measure. Sometimes you have to please the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a thing to figure out, So we started getting into the structural steel, the ornamental side. We picked it up really quick and we took off with it. I mean, it was Matt and I for probably the first 2 years that we owned the business. Right now we got a 10-man crew. So learning which markets to walk into was difficult, especially when we had no business plan. We're like, we weren't a business. We were just doing work for money. And that's not being a business owner.
Yep.
We fucked up a lot, along the way. And I mean, now we do, full, 70,000 square foot tilt ups. We do, all the custom homes. We do TI projects. We've worked with Switch, Google, Amazon, Tesla. I mean, you name it, they're all out here. So it's been a wild ride. And I mean, once we got our feet underneath us, we realized that we had to back out of certain markets. We don't even really do heavy equipment repair anymore. And that's what started this company.
Yep.
We have this thing where we're like, no matter what it takes, we will always take care of the community. And, people show up with broken trailers and shit like that. And it's gotten to the point now where it's like the guys do that shit on the weekends for cash. And we're like, hey, you have to charge $100 an hour, but go handle it yourself. You can use our shit, but, go handle it. Like, because we want the community to be taken care of. And you want to talk about the easiest form of, like, advertising? Just take care of the people that need the little shit done. I mean, we've landed, fucking $400,000 steel packages for homes because somebody heard about us from their friend that broke their trailer. But it's because we took care of everybody. We don't leave anybody behind. If you need something done, we'll do it. But, it's all a matter of how and when. If you got cash, the guys will come in on the weekend and do it,
Wow.
And then next thing you know, we got $500,000 worth of custom home shit to do, which is awesome, you know?
I mean, that's a great benefit to keep your guys happy too, man. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like, hey, dude, if you're going to burn up your weekend, yeah, cash in hand, dude. I mean, who doesn't want to come in and make fucking $300 on a weekend, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you're out of here in 2.5 hours. Good. That's
nice.
And that's the weird thing about owning a business now is that I've always been a pusher. I've always chased everything. Like I've always been a hard-nosed son of a bitch when it comes to doing the work. And now I own a business and I got guys that work for me that they don't want to work more than 40 hours. And for me to try and get over that has been difficult. But at the end of the day, the job is there to support their fucking life. Like they have a family, they have kids, they have a wife, they have things they want to go do. This is just a means to supply that.
Yep.
And good. Like I now that I've kind of let my ego get out of the way of the whole thing, it's like, yeah, I understand why you only want to work 40 hours because this isn't your life. What you do at home, that's your life.
Yep.
This is just to support your home.
This isn't their dream. It's your dream.
Exactly. Yeah. And do you know how much easier scheduling is when you understand that with people? You're like, hey, that guy's not going to work for 40 hours. And I don't want to, dude, I used to work 7/18s. We were doing shutdowns on the Hichechi system over in San Francisco. It was 7/18s. You slept in the back of your truck for a couple hours and then you got back to it, you know?
Dang.
I fucking loved it. I loved that. These guys don't.
Yeah.
I mean, good on them too. Do you know how much of my life I missed out on by working like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
everybody's not built like that. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like I love my business, but I really love the fact that my business supports my lifestyle. You know, like I've reprioritized now that, you know, I still work 50 something hours a week, but I prioritize my family. So like sometimes I'll take a day off in the middle of the week to go to Hershey Park because my kids are homeschooled and there's a homeschooling event. It's freaking awesome. You know what I mean? But I also had to come in and work that Saturday then. And we do 4 10-hour days at our shop. And the guys really like that. And we've been doing that for a while now and I've stuck to it. Like usually in the summertime, it's like, all right, we're going to work Fridays and they get overtime. No, this year I've stuck to that pretty hard of only doing 4 10-hour days.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if they call out or they have to make up a day, they'll come in on Friday, but we haven't had to work overtime. I mean, this is June. I haven't made anybody work overtime in months and it's been really great for us, you know?
Dude, 410s. I mean, I wish the whole construction industry would move to 410s. Who doesn't want a 3-day weekend, you know? Like, and our guys they're so pumped about 410s. And I have to have this conversation with contractors all the time. You know, we're a sub, so it's like, they're like, hey, well, you know, are you guys going to wrap this up on Friday? I'm like, well, no, they put their 40 in already. He's like, well, I don't get that. I'm like, yeah, we work 410s. He's like, yeah, but we don't. I'm like, okay, well, we do. So, and you have to take ownership of your schedule in order to run a 410 schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to bat for your guys and tell the contractor to get fucked. We offer up overtime. If the guys want it, they can get it. If they want to work 50 hours a week, they can. They don't have to. We'll never force anybody to work overtime, but it's always there. You know, if guys want to come in and make a little extra money, they got, you know, fucking daughter's birthday's coming up or something. They need a little extra cash. Hey, dude, work Friday. I don't, you know, like there's plenty of shit to do. Go ahead. But I mean, most of them take advantage of the 410s and it's this amazing alleviation of, dude, on Friday, they can go to the doctor. They can go to the dentist. They can go handle their car registration. They can do whatever the fuck it is they need to take care of. And that extra day means so much to them that I will never take that away from them.
Yeah.
You know, and Matt's on the same boat. Matt's like, dude, 410s. That's how we're going to run this business from now on.
Yep.
You know, and like if we ever got into manufacturing or something, it'd be the same thing. It'd be 410s.
It is really hard to defend that in a world that runs on 5, sometimes 6 days a week. You know, we were on a job and we were putting a staircase on top of a building 10 stories up. and we got part of it up there, and randomly, just like this lightning storm, and we knew it was coming. And he's like, all right, well, pack up the crane. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, no, you won't. And it was like the last thing on the job. He's like, well, I mean, I have to be out of here by 31st. I'm like, okay, it's like the 24th. I'm like, when's your final inspection? He's like, next Wednesday. I'm like, all right, great. We'll be here Monday morning. And if we're not here Monday because of the weather, we'll be here Tuesday. I said, Mike, you'll be fine. We'll get you done by the 31st. I promise you that. Oh, okay, okay. But it's tough. And we actually put that in our estimates that all of our work is based on Monday through Thursday, 7 to 5:30 with no overtime. And if they say, well, you didn't know, well, who you signed the estimate, you should have read that. Like,
sorry, you don't read.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
410 schedule has been.
It is.
It's a game. Our guys are so much happier with that,
Yeah. What's been the hardest thing for you to learn in business?
Numbers.
So,
for those who don't know me already, I run the podcast Tradesman Experience with Josh Hewitt, who is our business coach. I don't run it. He runs it. I just show up and talk. But he just got him and this guy, Greg, are doing like a joint thing. So Josh runs all the leadership side. Greg runs the financial side. So now we have a financial coach to go through. Dude, job costing. Do you know how many contractors don't job cost? It is fucking staggering.
I bet.
And we didn't do it for the first 4 years we were in business. And once we started job costing, now we actually make money.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're competing against a bunch of people that don't understand what it takes to build a job. So I'm going to throw this out there right now. I don't think anybody should be doing a startup business. I mean, we were a startup and we fucked the market up for probably 2 years. And I mean, you should be doing acquisitions, not starting a business. There's no fucking point in starting a business right now. There are so many boomers exiting the market that have well-established businesses with all the, they have a book of business, they have equipment, they have all the shit you need. You can do owner financing. But, dude, we fucked up so bad when we came into the market. And we had no idea what we were doing. We had no guidance, and we were skilled. So we could just wing it. We could run through there, and we made money, right? I mean, enough to at least pay ourselves. I mean, I went from making $250,000 a year to making $30,000 a year when we started this business. Do not start a business. Okay? It makes no fucking sense. It really doesn't. But figuring out the numbers and what it actually costs to run a business and to keep people happy and keep people here is so fucking hard. When you're the nuts and bolts guy, and now I sit at this fucking desk for, 8 hours a day. I used to be a badass, dude. I used to be a cool fucking dude that had a badass job. Now I'm a fucking estimator, like.
Oh, man.
What happened to me,
I wrote up my job description. I'm like, man, this thing sucks.
Yeah. I haven't even had the stones to fucking draw one up yet.
Marketing, customer relations, Google advertising, estimating, project management. What?
Right. Yeah.
Where are my khakis and polo at? Jeez.
Dude, I wear shorts to work now. It's fucking weird. Yeah.
So, we've had a heat wave of 90 degree, for a week and a half. And I considered wearing shorts to work. I'm like, I don't go out there. I don't grind and weld anymore. I could wear shorts. I'm like, no, I just can't let myself go there. You're in Nevada. It's a little different. In Pennsylvania, I just physically inside, I just can't bring myself to wear shorts to work.
You want to, though. You want to.
It's a slippery slope after that. It really is.
It is. Yeah.
Wearing loafers.
Flip-flops and shit. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, that was the hardest part, was figuring out the money. And you got to understand what money is. And I didn't learn that until a couple years ago, but money's just a fucking tool. It's a scoreboard for how the business is doing. And I mean, I don't spend a lot of money, you know, like it's very expensive to live here, but I don't really spend that much money. And learning like the role of money in your life and just thinking that you're going to have more is going to make everything easier is fucking stupid. For one, the more money that you start dealing with, you know, if we're dealing with $5 million, that's do you know how many fucking people are involved in $5 million?
Yeah.
Between banks, investors, contractors, employees, all that shit. Like, do you know how many people you have to deal with $5 million? That it's fucking huge, you know? And
yeah,
most people think that if I just have more money, I'll be better. And it's like, well, you can't manage $1,000. What makes you think you're going to be able to manage $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you live in paycheck to paycheck and you just think you're going to make more money and you're going to do better. No, because you fucking make dumb financial decisions. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that I had to learn and back myself off of because I always had money, right? Like being a pipeline welder, like we made good money, but I also spent it all on the road, you know? And especially, dude, you're in the pipeline lifestyle. You're doing fucking cocaine and drinking whiskey and going to strip clubs all the time and shit. And it burns up quick, you know?
Yeah.
You make $250,000 a year and you're homeless. You live out of a fucking hotel.
Yeah.
You know, if you get caught up in the lifestyle, and which I did, and, you know, luckily I backed myself out of that, but it's understanding what money is was a huge hurdle. And I think people need to really sit down and think about what that means to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be different per individual, right? But in my humble opinion, money is freedom. Money gives me the ability to not be here on a fucking Tuesday at 10 a.m. If I want to jump on a fucking plane and go to Belize for a week, so what? You know, money gives me the freedom to do that.
Mm.
But it's also team building. It's also leadership. It's, you know, all these other things are involved in it. But when you look at money itself, money equals freedom. And that's what that's what that means to me, at least.
Well, that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys get to go check out what Nate does over on Instagram. Find him at Nate Newton 87. Find Battleborn at Battleborn Welding. So stop back next week for the second episode with Nate from Battleborn Welding. We actually only have 2 episodes in this series, so make sure you come back for that. And until next time, get out there, get it done, and get it invoiced.